Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That to Shoot, my weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Tomorrow is the Royal Rumble, and this is the predictions episode. And usually, I only do predictions when it's like the day before or a couple days before, a WWE PLE or NXT PLE. However, we had some breaking news come out yesterday, and I wanted to at least give my thoughts on what it is before we get to the fun stuff, while we're really here. So, I'm reading you this from Variety. WWE founder Vince McMahon accused of sexual abuse and trafficking in lawsuit by former employee. Written by Todd Spangler. It goes like this. A former employee of WWE sued founder Vince McMahon, alleging he abused and sexually exploited her when he was CEO of the wrestling entertainment company, and that McMahon allegedly trafficked her to other men as a pawn to secure talent deals with prospective wrestlers the company was recruiting. The former WWE employee, Janelle Grant, filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court for the District of Connecticut Thursday, naming McMahon, WWE, and former head of talent relations John Laurinaitis as defendants. The lawsuit alleges McMahon, Laurinaitis, and WWE violated the Trafficking Victims Prevention Act and includes claims of civil battery and intentional infliction of emotional distress in relation to years-long sexual and emotional abuse Grant said that she endured as an employee of WWE. The lawsuit seeks unexpected monetary damages as well as a declaratory judgment that a non-disclosure agreement Grant signed while she was an employee is void and unforeseeable and does not bar any of the plaintiff's claims against defendants McMahon and WWE. A copy of the lawsuit is available at this link. Should have read that. Reps for WWE and McMahon did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A spokesperson for TKO Groupings Holding, the parent company of WWE and UFC, said in a statement, Mr. McMahon does not control TKO, nor does he oversee the day-to-day operations of WWE. While this matter predates our TKO executive team's tenure at the company, we take Mrs. Grant's horrible allegations very seriously and are addressing this matter internally. The lawsuit was filed 2 days after TKO inked a 10-year deal with Netflix for WWE's Monday Night Raw, valued at $500 million per year, a significant step up in fees for the franchise. Reps for Netflix did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the lawsuit either. In addition to the Netflix deal, TKO Group announced that Dwayne Johnson had joined the board and that Johnson gained ownership of the trademark name The Rock. McMahon stepped down as WWE CEO in June 2020 amid an investigation by the company's board into alleged hush money payments to women who accused him of sexual misconduct. As WWE's chief executive, McMahon made payments totaling $19.6 million dating back to 2007 related to alleged misconduct the company disclosed. In March 2023, McMahon paid WWE $17.4 million for the cost of the company incurred in investigating misconduct allegations against him. McMahon returned to the company in January of 2023 as executive chairman to lead efforts to sell WWE, which last year merged with UFC to form TKO Group Holdings as a separate traded public company in a deal engineered by Endeavor. McMahon became executive chairman of the board for TKO Group in September 2023. In November, McMahon sold about $670 million worth of TKO stock following the UFC-WWE merger. The stock he sold represents about 30% of the 28 million shares of TKO that McMahon previously owned, per a regulatory filing. According to Grant's lawsuit, McMahon and Laurinaitis on WWE property and using WWE funding both engaged in sexual assault and trafficking of Grant. Quote, both for their own pleasure and as a pawn to secure talent deals with prospective wrestlers they were recruiting. McMahon repeatedly used sex toys named after WWE employees, wrestlers, and performers to sexually groom Ms. Grant for trafficking to those same people, per the suit. In addition, according to the legal complaint, McMahon would shower Ms. Grant with gifts and empty work promotions while at the same time threatening her livelihood and her reputation if she wouldn't succumb to his increasingly depraved sexual demands, including disseminating pornography of Ms. Grant to thousands of individuals and engaging in sex acts with other WWE employees, some of which who were complete strangers. According to the lawsuit, after McMahon's wife learned of his relationship with Grant was abruptly pressured to resign from the WWE and forced to sign an NDA days before a major financial deadline for the organization under the guise that McMahon would protect her financially and reputationally and pay her $3 million. However, Ms. McMahon later refused to make payments to Ms. Grant, falsely claiming that she had leaked information to the press. According to the suit, McMahon paid Grant $1 million in February 2020, but McMahon failed to make any other further payments, the lawsuit states. According to Grant's lawsuit, she and McMahon lived in the same apartment building and met in March of 2019. In June of that year, per the complainant, after succumbing into the pressure of a physical relationship, Ms. Grant was slotted into an entry-level position as an administrative coordinator, a position McMahon created for her in the WWE Legal Department. In March 2021, McMahon transferred Grant to the Talent Relations Department, reporting to Laurinaitis. While McMahon was CEO of WWE and Grant was employed as an entry-level coordinator in the legal department, McMahon recruited individuals to have sexual relations with Ms. Grant and or with the two of them, directed Ms. Grant to visit defendant Laurinaitis prior to the start of work days for sexual encounters, and expected and directed Ms. Grant to engage in sexual activity at the WWE headquarters even during work hours, according to the lawsuit. Citing an example of McMahon's extreme depravity, on May 9th, 2020, he defecated on Ms. Grant during a threesome and then commanded her to continue pleasuring his friend with feces in her hair running down her back, while McMahon went to the bathroom to shower off, the lawsuit says. In June 2021, according to the complaint, McMahon and Laurinaitis sexually assaulted Ms. Grant inside Laurinaitis' office at the WWE's Stanford headquarters. Behind a locked door, the two men cornered her and pulled her in between them, forcibly touched her before ultimately putting her on top of the table in between them, the lawsuit states. She begged them to stop, but they forced themselves on her, each taking turns restraining her for the other, while saying no means yes and take it, bitch. Ann Callis, an attorney for Grant, said in a statement, today's complaint seeks to hold accountable two WWE executives who sexually assaulted and trafficked plaintiff Janelle Grant, as well as the organization that facilitated or turned a blind eye to the abuse and then swept it under the rug. She's an incredible, private, and courageous person who has suffered deeply at the hands of Mr. McMahon and Mr. Laurinaitis. Ms. Grant hopes that her lawsuit will prevent other women from being victimized. The organization is well aware of McMahon's history of depraved behavior, and it's time that they take responsibility for the misconduct of his leadership. Grant's lawsuit against McMahon, Laurinaitis, and WWE was first reported by the Wall Street Journal. And there's more. If you can go online, you can find the lawsuit and read some of the other stuff that happened in the lawsuit. There are even things in there that make claims that a guy who was a former WWE and UFC champion was trying to sign with the company, and McMahon used her and her stuff to try to get them to sign, try to get this guy to sign. And most people think this guy is Brock Lesnar. Obviously, because he's a former WWE and UFC champion. And there's a bunch of other things. There are copies of text messages that are just very strange and weird. And it's just, Listen, I am a believer of innocent until proven guilty. I believe that to my heart. If a court finds you innocent, you are innocent. The court finds you guilty, you are guilty. And that's just it. I don't make decisions either other way, right? Unless someone says that. And I even do that with things that are not like court related or legal related. I've always said that, like when it comes to baseball and the steroids and things like that, unless you failed a test or unless you admitted it, I'm not going to sit there and call you a steroid user. I'm not going to do that to Barry Bonds. I'm not going to do that to Sammy Sosa. Whatever the mystery report says, fuck it off. But as Rodriguez, Ramirez, who have been tested and caught positive, okay, yeah. Mark McGwire, you admitted it to doing it? Yes. So it doesn't mean that they're not Hall of Famers, but that's another topic for another day. But you're innocent until proven guilty is what I'm trying to say. And I go by that. That's how I believe that it should be, at least for me, that's how I feel the best way to go about things like this. And the thing about this is that there can be no proof of being innocent or guilty. This is a lawsuit. This is not a criminal court. This is a lawsuit. So things cannot be proven. Yes, she has text messages and screenshots of text messages that she says are from Vince, but are they? You never know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sit up here and say that she is lying. I am not saying that at all. Don't think that I am doing that. I am just telling you how I feel and how I seem to look at the world. Innocent until proven guilty. And when it comes to things like this, these allegations, until proven true, or until Vince admits it or anything like that, or until there's actually like video evidence proof, what can you do, right? You just take them as allegations. That being said, there are enough allegations of Miss Vince that have come out not only in the past 2 or 3 years, but the entire 30, 40 years that he was the head of WWE, and the allegations of misconduct. And remember back in the 80s, the first female referee accused Vince of rape. There's so many allegations against this man that at some point, you just have to say enough is enough. Innocent or guilty. And trust me, I love Vince. When the day that Vince McMahon passes away, while there will be millions of people dancing on his grave, pissing on his grave, I will be sitting here in front of this camera probably crying my eyes out because he has given me so much entertainment over the past 40 years. I'm almost sure of it. But that being said, I think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Now, there are things out there where Vince has, is the CEO of TKO, and it doesn't look like that they can fire him or anything like that. I think Brendan Thurston put something out that he can't, that the only way Vince can be outed as the CEO of TKO or chairman of TKO is if he resigns or passes away. It's not sure that they can just force him out. I know Jimmy Van, who was the Fightful founder, I think he put out on Twitter that I guess they can maybe vote. Board of directors can maybe make a vote of no confidence, but I'm not sure what that does. But in my opinion, Vince should go. Vince needs to go. Because right now the WWE is maybe the healthiest it's been since the Attitude Era. The healthiest. It's creatively, it's hitting on point with almost everything that they do. Financially, they're making money hand over fist. It's like so much so that, as I read in that story, Netflix gave WWE $500 million, for like over 10 years, to air Monday Night Raw in 2025, starting in January of 2025. So it's like, and it's because of what Nick Khan has been doing on the business side and what Triple H has been doing on the creative side. And right now, the WWE is again, it's at the best it's been in years. As someone who's a Vince guy, and someone who came on here, this channel, and defended Vince vehemently, and was saying that WWE was great, and WWE was good, and it was better than AEW, everything like that. And I'm not saying that I was saying that just to be a WWE shill. I truly believe that. But I also have to say that since Vince has been gone, it has gotten better. It somehow went from good, to very good, to just absolutely amazing. And what I don't want is the allegations to continue to come out against Vince McMahon, and then somehow, because he's somehow connected to WWE, and things started, just falling for WWE. Because right now we live in a world, but I've seen on Twitter already that people are already saying, you don't think Stephanie didn't know, you didn't think Nick Khan didn't know, you don't think Triple H knew. They knew. And there's been nothing in this lawsuit about Triple H or Stephanie or anything like that. And they're putting two and two together. Stephanie knew, and that's why she quit. And that's why she quit, last year. And that's why she quit the first time, or something like that. Before she came back, and then she quit again. So, for me, this is just, I'm not going, and it probably isn't going to happen, because I just think, but I don't want a major bombshell to come out with Vince about the WWE, about his time in the WWE. Because at this point, I believe that there probably is something. There is something humongous out there that could come out about Vince and WWE that could just totally make people look at WWE in a way that says, I like it, I love what they're doing, I just can't watch, I can't support it because of what that man did. So, it just is what it is. So, for me, innocent, guilty, true or not, I don't particularly care. At some point, Vince needs to be gone from TKO. And probably what's even best is because right now there isn't too much talk about Vince to begin with. When it comes to like documentaries and things like that, every now and then you may hear something, might bring Vince up because you kind of have to. But yeah, I think right now Vince should be persona non grata when it comes to WWE. That's just me. Okay, so let's do more happier things now. Well, the reason why we're truly here, and that's to predict the Royal Rumble predictions. As of this recording, there are only 4 matches been announced. One may be announced tonight on SmackDown. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe even tomorrow, tomorrow morning. But I think they're going to go with 2. I think they're going to go with just these 4, because the Royal Rumble matches are going to be, an hour each. And then each of these matches can be about 20 minutes, themselves. So and actually you can have the United States match even be less, and still be a good match. Kevin Owens and Logan Paul and things like that. So, but yeah, we're here to do the Royal Rumble. So let's go ahead and let's start. Where should we start? Let's start with the United States Championship match. Logan Paul takes on Kevin Owens. I would not be surprised if both of these guys end up being in the Royal Rumble as well, pulling double duty tonight. But they have a United States Championship match. Look, Kevin Owens, who has been going around with a broken hand. I don't know if that's real or just worked. But he won't be wearing the cast. And Logan Paul has been saying that he has been, going around saying that Kevin Owens, making fun of Kevin Owens, how he looks, how he, what his attire is, and everything like that. Logan Paul is something. He's special, and he is, for a guy who's been doing this for too long, and just do this sparingly. He is just truly great at it, and he is great. He is great in his character. He is great in the ring. He just has it all. I really would like to see him, maybe at some point, do a full year of being full time, going actually on the road with them, maybe doing live shows, doing weekly shows, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown, just being weekly. I would love to see that. As for this match, I think Logan Paul is going to retain, but I think this is going to be a pretty excellent match. There's some people who think that this is heading towards Logan Paul versus LA Knight at WrestleMania. I'm not necessarily sure of that. I think anything can happen. But I think whatever it is, it's a fun deal to have Logan Paul as the champion. And I think Logan Paul will make a spot at Elimination Chamber in Australia, and then of course he'll be at the Royal Rumble. So I'm predicting Logan Paul to retain the United States Championship over Kevin Owens. The undisputed WWE Championship in a fatal 4-way is on the line. Champion Roman Reigns defends against Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight. The word is that they are doing this match because they don't feel like it's the right time for Randy Orton to lose a match after just coming back, especially to Roman Reigns. However, you could have done easily a screw job finish where a couple years ago you had Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns by disqualification. Why couldn't that happen here? Why couldn't Randy Orton win by disqualification? Maybe Roman Reigns it's too much. Heyman interferes. Bloodline interferes, of course. So I just don't know why they didn't fit it forward, because it was kind of enjoyable, because if you look at Roman Reigns' title defenses, all of them but one have been a one-on-one match. He had a triple threat match at WrestleMania 37 against Edge and Daniel Bryan, and that's been it. All the other ones have been one-on-one matches, and I think that's what has made his championship reign so great, actually, because it's just been that. It's just been a one-on-one match, and because it's one thing for the babyface, right? It's one thing for the babyface to overcome odds, in a triple threat match or a fatal 4-way match and win the championship, because that's what makes the babyface the babyface. But the heel to overcome odds and win, and because the way they do the fatal 4 matches and triple threat matches is that they haven't been no disqualifications and no countouts and things like that. So you're almost pretty sure that the bloodline, the bloodline of Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa are going to come out and they're going to help and they're going to distract. They're going to take out, the people, and then they're going to leave Roman one-on-one with Styles or Knight. Because if they don't want Randy Orton to get pinned, he's not going to take the pinfall. So he's one of those two, and he's going to win that way. I guess the best thing about this is that the people who were tired of the referee gets knocked out or referee gets distracted and things like that, having Roman Reigns win that way, it's not going to happen in this match because again, it's no disqualification, no count out. They can come out and interfere, and it's just going to be okay. So that being said, even though there's a lot of theories out there, to me, this is Roman's. Again, this is another one. Roman Reigns is going to win this match. I just don't see someone beating Roman Reigns. I don't see someone don't see them doing this as to get the title off of Roman without having Roman Reigns take a pin, Roman Reigns take a loss. I don't think that's happening with this one. So for me, this is another one, easy one. This is Roman Reigns, and it should be victory. The women's Royal Rumble match now. So we have, I think, 4 people who probably have the best chance to win, right? We have Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, Bayley, and Bianca Belair, right? These are the people that have been focused on the most, and these are the people that have been talked about the most and have been put into the most visible storylines. So these like to be the 4 women that could see. So there are many ways you can go about this, right? Bianca Belair wins, right? Sure, maybe she wants to go after Io Sky, but maybe, especially now, we've got the WWE 2K cover athletes, and Rhea and Bianca are on the cover of the deluxe edition. Maybe you wanna put Bianca Belair in a match against Rhea Ripley, which to me, this is what I thought they were gonna have going into this year. When both of them end up having the championship, things like that, I thought we were headed on our way to that matchup. It didn't seem like that. Bianca Belair had some other things she had to take care of and things like that. So, and then there was some talk about Charlotte and Bianca Belair. And since Charlotte has torn her ACL, she's going to be making it to WrestleMania. Bianca Belair needs to do something. So wouldn't this be like the perfect match? A lot of people want Becky Lynch. They think Becky versus Rhea is a big match, WrestleMania match, and it is. But I also think Bianca and Rhea Ripley is a main event match. So I think there's that. And then you have Bayley. The story they've been telling with Bayley, or at least the story that we think they've been telling with Bayley. I shouldn't say that because I hate when you listen to people and they say, well, this is a story that they've been telling. Well, have they been? You'd think they have. But maybe they were telling another story. So this is what I should say. The story that I think that they've been telling with Bayley is that the Damage Control is at some point going to be turning on Bayley, right? She's at some point she's going to do something, and maybe that's even tonight, right? Maybe there's a theory tonight. The tag team championships on the line. The life of the party. Katana Chance and Kayden Carter going against the Kabuki Warriors. Maybe tonight, Bayley inadvertently cost the Kabuki Warriors the match. And then afterwards, she gets a beat down, gets excommunicated from Damage Control. So then what happens? She goes in tomorrow night, wins the Royal Rumble, and then goes on to face Io Sky. You can see that. So that's the story that I think they've been telling, but who knows? They also could be telling the story of her winning, going on to face Rhea Ripley, failing, and then because of that failure, her being kicked out of Damage Control. So there's a lot of ways they can go with that with Bayley. I like that. Obviously, the thing with Rhea and Becky Lynch, that's cool. They've been doing a lot of stuff on TV, the promo. couple of weeks ago when they was like kind of giving each other respect about them being, you know, the best and wanting to prove they're the best. You know, that was nice, and that's a good way to go about it. And then there's Nia Jax, who has come back, and I think she's been fantastic. You know, I think her wrestling has been entertainment. She's still, I will admit that she still needs to work on her promos. Promos are, you know, not all that great. You know, and maybe it's the stuff that she's given, but maybe she doesn't give the stuff because, you know, Becky gets stuff and she performs it well. Same thing with people like The Miz and people like, you know, Logan Paul, you know, Roman Reigns. They do their stuff. Maybe the stuff isn't as great, but they perform it great, so you think it's great, right? So maybe that's what it is. But she's still on promos, but her work has been fine. I don't think she has injured anybody really. There was that one thing, and again, you just don't know. When she first came back, you know, she sets out on Rhea Ripley, and Rhea had to take a few weeks off. I'm not sure if that was because of, you know, Nia Jax, or if that was because, you know, she did, you know, that she was, you know, it was work. I'm not sure, but she's been really good. And Rhea Ripley has been getting a face reaction. Now, there's a part of me that says that the way they're going is they're going to have in Australia. It's going to be Nia Jax against Rhea Ripley, because then down there, Rhea Ripley would totally be a total face, being that's her home country, her home continent. And Nia Jax can be the evil baby, the evil heel that she needs to be. And maybe they want an actual kind of heel that's going against Becky Lynch, correct? Or even Bayley, whatever that may be. So there's a part of me that wants to say Nia Jax, and actually a couple of days ago I would have said I was going to come in and say, no, I'm going to pick Nia Jax, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Becky Lynch. I'm going to pick Becky Lynch. That's just, you know, that just seems like the most common sense thing that they're going to do, because there are other ways you can get to wherever they want to go if you think they're going in that direction, with Bayley, with Nia Jax, and with Bianca Belair. So yeah, I'm going to say Becky Lynch ends up being the first two-time winner of the Royal Rumble. If Bayley wins, I'll be happy about that. If Nia Jax wins, I'll be really happy about that, because I think she's kind of worked her ass off to get to where she's at, and she's in a perfect place. And again, they're booking her great as well. She shouldn't have lost to Becky Lynch. And so then the next time Becky Lynch and Nia Jax wrestle, depending on what the match is, Becky Lynch can beat her, or even Nia Jax can beat her again, leading to a match that if somehow like Becky Lynch did go on to face Rhea, beat Rhea Ripley, become the Women's World Heavyweight Champion, then when Nia Jax, by beating her twice, has the #1 contendership, and then you can automatically have, you know, Becky Lynch overcome everything and then find a way to beat her in a logistical and sensible way. So I think everything they can go is perfect. So it won't be wrong with Bianca Belair. It will not be wrong with Bayley. Definitely won't be wrong with Nia Jax. I'll be happy with all those three. And with that being said, I think the winner turns out to be Becky Lynch. Now for the men's Royal Rumble, this one is kind of stacked too. They've last couple of weeks they've added Gunther into the mix. So you have Gunther there. We know the stuff with Cody Rhodes needing to finish his story, CM Punk coming back for his chance to main event WrestleMania, and Drew McIntyre as well. We've also have some other things that can, other people in there who can maybe jump up and maybe be a surprise. A Jey Uso. I was still kind of wanting Jey Uso to win that, so Jimmy and Jay. Although who even knows what that is? Because again, I think the story that they've been telling is that it's going to be Jey Uso against Gunther at WrestleMania. So who never knows, right? You never know. So when it comes down to this, the men's Royal Rumble, again, we talked about there are many ways for them to go, right? We got to talk about Cody Rhodes and finishing the story. It's just easy, right? He wins the Royal Rumble again. He challenges Roman Reigns to match at WrestleMania to finish the story. That's CM Punk. CM Punk is the winner. He challenges Seth Rollins to a match at WrestleMania for a WrestleMania main event. And there's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre can win because he wants to prove to everybody that he is a champion. He can win the championship in front of fans and be the champion in front of fans that everybody thought he could be. Gunther is right now maybe the best wrestler going, and as dominant as he's been with the Universal Champion, with the Intercontinental Champion, look how dominant he could be with the World Heavyweight Championship, and how that could be. You want to talk about somebody who could just be, straight out like dominant. That would be interesting to see as well. So there are many ways to go, and there are many ways that each person can go and get to the way that they've got there, right? But then there are two things for both championships that are in the way. Let's start with the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins' injury. I would have said that this would have been a lot simpler if Seth Rollins wasn't injured. Right? I think it would have been easy. CM Punk wins it. CM Punk, Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Make the main event. Let's not even try to deal with the situation, right? But now we have Seth Rollins, who's not going to be on TV probably for a while. He's going to be rehabbing his injury. So how do you? And he said on this that he's going to go into WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion. So how do you do that? How does the match go? Who's going to win the match? There was a part of me that's starting to think that it would make sense to do a triple threat with Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. But then how would you get to that triple threat? No, how do you get to that triple threat? Do you do what you've done in the past, where kind of like how you did with a couple of years ago? Edge won the Royal Rumble, but Edge won the Royal Rumble. However, he had Daniel Bryan stepped up, and Jim Bryan won his way into the match, I believe, and then they just made a triple threat match. So, how do you do that with? So do you do the same thing with like you did there with the CM Punk? CM Punk wins the thing, or Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble, and then you just insert CM Punk into that match. And they done before. They did with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch won, and then they inserted Charlotte Flair in there. So do they do that? So that's a wait and see thing. And then, of course, with the Universal Championship, there's The Rock. And what is The Rock going to do? And listen, when he came out on day one and he said that line, do you want him to sit at the head of the table? It started to make everybody think, hey, what are we doing here? Is it going to be right? And there were so many people. I remember sitting here listening to the Fightful Post show, and for about 45 minutes to an hour, Denise Salcedo and Sandra Sapp were taking super chats about how do you do the match. And if you do Roman and Brock, you know, how does Cody fit into that? And what does Cody do? And things like, and they even do the match elimination chamber and such and such and such and such. So that was, you know, that was just insane. However, this past week he was on First Take, and he was talking about The Rock and Roman, and how there's a chance of it happening, and how things like this could, you know, and he talked about how he wanted this. Excuse me. How what he wanted to have is he wanted to grow the business. He wanted to grow WWE. He wanted to make WWE even bigger. Go into places that WWE may not be into, right? You know, bring more eyes onto wrestling as a whole. Nevertheless, even WWE. And he was talking about thinking long term. So isn't the long term thing to do is to do what you did with Cena? Have The Rock be a part of the WrestleMania match between Cody and Roman in some form or fashion. Have them set up the main event for 41 being Roman versus Rock. And just set that set up for next year. And then that way there can still be many things. I even thought about the fact that, you know, the new video games were announced and they have new features. They brought back some matches, special referee. And they love to make things. They love to make promotional matches. So when you think the main event of night 2, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, with the special guest referee being The Rock, because we know that the official likes to get knocked out. Rudy Charles likes to get knocked out in every Roman match. So you have someone who won't get knocked out. He won't be. If he gets knocked down, he can get back up. He's not going to be out for 20 minutes. Things like that, right? It would be The Rock, and The Rock would be there to neutralize, you know, Jimmy, and neutralize Solo, neutralize Heyman as the official, and then he could count to 3, and then we could go on next year. Wouldn't that be something, right? But maybe not. Maybe The Rock has a bunch of other things to do. He's still got to film the new Fast and the Furious movie that he's going back to do. He has other projects he has got to do. He's got the UFL now that needs promoting and he's talking about, and he got all this other stuff that's going to be happening. What can he do? No, this would be maybe the best time for him to be able to do the match between him and Roman. Now, several weeks ago, when, not several weeks ago, it was actually the first couple weeks ago, like it was on the 6th, I made the thing that I would have Roman do double duty. He would open night 1 against The Rock for the moniker of head of the table. He would win that match. And then night 2, he would main event against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, which he would lose. And Cody Rhodes would be the winner and would finish the story. I still like that. But then the thing is, how does Cody get there? And listen, with all that being said, and all that I have spoken about, I just think that the easiest way for them to do the Cody Rhodes finishing the story is for him to win the Royal Rumble. Just win it again and have him challenge Roman Reigns again. Simple as that. And then we can see about The Rock and see if they would have Roman wrestle twice, or have Rock do the whole special guest referee thing like I said, and have him take it on to next year, whatever. But I've always said that I think that the story is Cody versus Roman. Cody finished the story at WrestleMania 40, and I've said this in my other videos. There's always a celebration at the end of these special ones. The celebration at the end of 10, Bret Hart winning and have all the people carrying on his shoulder. The celebration at WrestleMania 20, which is now obviously tainted a little bit because Eddie Guerrero, who has been passed, who's gone and passed away for a while, and Chris Benoit because of the stuff that he's been accused of, but not accused of, the stuff that he did. Excuse me. Stuff that he did. That thing isn't as looked frowned upon now as it was in the past. And then WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan. WrestleMania 40, I believe this needs to end with Cody Rhodes finishing his story and holding up the WWE Championship and being there at celebration with his family in his ring, his little girl, his wife Brandy, maybe some other members of his family, maybe -1 is there, maybe even somehow Dustin gets an opportunity to go there. Maybe he might be allowed to be there if he's in his gold dust space, something like that. So maybe if he can even do that, I'm not sure, but it just seems like that should be the end of WrestleMania. And I think there's no other sensible way for that to happen than for Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, I've thrown a lot out there. But my prediction is Cody Rhodes wins the men's Royal Rumble match. Alright, so to recap really quickly, Logan Paul will retain the United States Championship over Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns will retain the WWE Championship over Orton, Knight, and Styles in the Fatal 4-Way. Becky Lynch wins the Women's Royal Rumble. And Cody Rhodes wins the back-to-back Royal Rumble. Those back-to-back times in winning the Royal Rumble since Stone Cold Steve Austin did it in 97 and 98. So, there you have it. That's what I think is going to happen tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble. Boy. You know what? Fuck it. Yes, I'm going to be live after the Royal Rumble. After the Royal Rumble on tomorrow night. So make sure you're here for that. We're going to talk about the matches and the things that happen and things like that. I have my ratings ready to go. And things like that. Where do I have my book? Yeah, I have my book ready and things like that. And I'm also, once again, keeping score for my predictions. So, there you have it. And speaking of that, if something does get made, I will come back to this video and I will post in the comments my prediction for that match, the new match that may be made, if there is one made. I don't think it will be. I think it just kind of makes sense to go with the two Rumble matches. They're going to be an hour, and then and then the two other matches as well. And I think this is what they should do with the War Games. If they're gonna do War Games matches, they have two War Games matches, or men's and women's. Then they should really only have another match, one or two of the matches. The last couple years they've had 3, and they've been kind of short. And some people felt like they've been changed. I had no problem with it, but I do think maybe the best thing to do is to do 2 matches in that type of area. So there you have it. So post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. What are your predictions for the Royal Rumble? Let me know down in the comment section. And obviously, of course, if you have any thoughts on the new allegations that have come out on Vince McMahon, post those in the comment section as well. Once again, I think he really needs to be gone from TKO and be kind of a persona non grata when it comes to WWE right now, and maybe any time in the future. Only should bring him up if it's truly only necessary. Truly only necessary. But you have to bring him up. So, because even though these are just allegations, and he's not been convicted of anything, and not even been charged with anything, still, that's just It's several allegations over the past couple of years, and many more over his entire tenure as the CEO and chairman of WWE. So, yeah, it just is what it is. All right, folks, thank you guys so much for watching. It's just your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.